Pain is temporary. Glory is forever. It's Ultimate Combat Radio, only on 1280 and 97.5 The Zone.
Welcome back to Ultimate Combat Radio. Mike Stidham here in the studios of 1280 The Zone, talking a little mixed martial arts. And this segment is brought to you by Aztec Highway. Get it your way at the highway. WDFA. Anything cool going on over at Aztec Highway, Chris?
They have some awesome girls stuff. Sorry. They have some awesome girl stuff.
Well, there you go, ladies. Get out there and check it out. Robertina, I'm kind of glad you piped in there because I would really like to give out the phone lines again. Right?
Oh, okay.
I think we might have rushed right through that a little bit.
No, I can do that. 470-570-670-1280. Text us at 53318. Text in zone and whatever you have to say. And Facebook.com/Ultimate Combat Radio.
All right, well, there you go. Now, I want you to weigh in on the poll question. We're giving away a Rush Fit training, what is that, a Rush Fit kit? And it's eight DVDs of George St. Pierre doing his thing, how he trains for MMA, and you can have it, yours. And, he's got diet plan and kind of a workout schedule and that kind of thing in there. It's actually kind of a pretty cool kit. We dug through it. And we also, I understand, have some tickets to give away.
We do. We have a couple. Okay,
so the big fight's going on down at UVU in Orem, the UCCU Center. Showdown Fights going on tonight. Jan Jorgensen and Sean O'Connell are going to be fighting on that card. We got some tickets for that, so call in and say something cool, and they could be yours. Now, this week's poll question, once again, is of the reported title fights that will take place in 2012, which do you see as the most compelling? John Jones versus Rashad Evans, Junior Dos Santos versus Alistair Overeem, Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen, Dominic Cruz, Uriah Faber, and Ben Henderson, or Ben Henderson and Frankie Edgar. And Joe, I'd love to hear what you have to say about that.
We all know what I'm going to say. I've been talking about this for 6 months now. Chael Sonnen beating Anderson Silva. I cannot wait to watch that fight happen.
You just got dead air on the radio. That's never going to happen, Joe. Chael Sonnen is not going to beat Anderson Silva. It's just not going to happen. And I'm a Chael Sonnen guy.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess, huh?
Okay, you have been saying that for a little while.
I've wanted that fight rematch to happen for so long, and just because of the way the last one ended, I think they need a rematch, and I'm excited about it.
Okay, well, all right, there you go. Let's talk about the Showdown show that's going on tonight. Showdown has clearly kind of stepped to the fore as the, how would you say, the premier fight show in Utah here. At least they think so, And as I'm breaking down the fight card, I think they have certainly some claim to that. But there's some things that kind of leave me kind of scratching my head wondering what's going on. I want to kind of talk about the first fight of the evening. They got a guy that's 46 years old, never fought before, fighting a kid that's 19 years old, that's 1-1. Don't know anything about either one of these guys. Dominic Rossetti versus Dustin Jenkins. And I understand you want to fill a fight card, and the fight card you want to have the first of the fight card usually or give the new guys an opportunity to kind of cut their teeth, if you will. But they've kind of said outwardly that we set ourselves apart from that. We don't allow, or we don't offer that.
I believe Dominic Rossetti is the strength and conditioning coach at Pitt Elevated IT. If you remember when we went out for that seminar, he was the guy who was back in the weight room pushing everybody through those workouts. So he has a tie to the show, I'm guessing. So.
Okay, all right, there you go. That explains it right there. Okay, now bout number 2, you've got Deanna Bennett and Andre Miller. We've been talking about this a little bit. Deanna Bennett is 2-0. She's said to be, according to Adam Laga, in fact, is my source on this. He says she's by far the best female in Utah. He says, I look at her and see what she's doing now. She even makes the other females that we have been supporting in the past not be what she's just that much better than them.
And there's a few tough girls out that way at the Pitt Elevated. So that coming from Adam, she must be pretty tough.
Yeah, but they've got her fighting Andre Miller. Now Andre Miller is what you would call a gatekeeper. She's one of those girls. She's tough and. But she's not the most skilled technician. But if in fact Deanna is what they say she is, Andrea might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Andrea's kind of a test. We're putting her up for a test right here.
I understand we have a caller, so I want to take the call real quick. I'm going to interrupt my Showdown breakdown and then take the caller. Who do we have on the line?
Brandon,
my man, how are you? What's going on?
What's up, man?
You tell
Dude, Shell Sonnen beating Anderson Silva, come on.
I love it.
if you were any kind of fight predictor or authority on the sport, you would have said before that first fight, okay, Shell Sonnen has a great chance if he can get Silva on the ground and if he's able to take him down. That's the only chance he has. Well, he did that for 5 rounds, and he still lost. He did the thing that was the only thing he could do to possibly win that fight, and he still lost.
See, and Brandon, I 100% agree with you. Joe and I have been fighting about this for a couple months now. My feeling is this, that Sonnen, he had the fight of his life, and he came out and he took it to Anderson Silva. He caught him off guard. That'll never happen again. Anderson Silva is such a superior fighter. I don't see that happening to him twice.
It won't. The best Shell Sonnen fought Anderson Silva that was caught off guard. Well put. So I want to see that again because I am the worst fight predictor in history, and I always lose to Joe. And for that very reason, I know I'm going to be right on this one, and it's going to be my chance to say, "In your face, Joe." So,
I guess we'll have to talk in a couple months, huh?
I hadn't heard that was being discussed. Is that a real possibility now?
In fact, I was on the UFC's website today, and it was on there that they said, look, these other fights have been confirmed. This one's going to happen. In fact, maybe it wasn't the UFC's. I think it might have been mixedmartialarts.com, but it was said that it's going to happen in 2012. They just haven't signed it yet. I didn't realize this was the Brandon that it is the Brandon. This is our Brandon.
I can tell that through your headphones.
Well, how's your car, my man?
Well, it's at Midas. It's going to be there for a couple days.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We miss you here.
Big props to Cam Tuller down there at Midas, taking care of all the fight community and all of us.
He always has, and I want to kind of expound on that. The Midas stores in Utah, most of them are owned by Cam Tuller's father, and if you get a chance, and Cam's at all of them, he kind of bounces around, but is he at the Sugar House one? Is that where he's at right now? Or Murray?
No, this is the one on State Street in 6200 South. Yeah,
okay,
Murray.
Pop in there and give him a big hug, man, because he always takes care of fighters. He takes care of their cars, and and some of these guys are broke joke, and Cam's hooked them up, and so they are awesome over there. And pop in and say hello.
All right, guys. Well, I heard you breaking down the Showdown card tonight. I don't want to force you to get right to the end, but I'm wondering what you guys think. Who's going to win the big fight tonight? And are you guys?
That was my question for you because I think you have the best insight with Berkman, and so this is my feeling on it: is that Berkman has. If you're just looking at it on paper, it's a no-brainer. Berkman's got the experience. He's got 7 UFC fights under his belt. He's got the experience. He's been fighting for a decade, and he's got the experience. Now, having said all that, this is the first time I think Josh is ever going to walk into the cage that he's not the superior athlete. I think Kofi is the better athlete than Josh, and I think that in some way the naivete that Kofi has is going to work to his benefit. He's just, he's got nothing to lose, and he's got everything to win. He goes in and beats Berkman, and the UFC's talking to him, and so this is one of those pick 'em fights. What is your take on it, Brandon?
I think you're so right about your take on Kofi, both being the better athlete and sort of his naivety playing to his advantage. I cornered Casey Scola against Kofi at a time when Casey was in great shape and ready for that fight. And just the fact that Kofi walked in there basically with, little training, little fight experience, and no real major team behind him at that time. He just walked in there and didn't care who Casey was and didn't know, and it was a huge advantage because he wasn't intimidated and he just pressed forward, and it was a very tough fight for Casey, and that was a Casey Scola in his prime. I think that's a great perspective for tonight's fight. I agree that Josh is probably going to be outmatched as far as strength and athleticism, but I think the experience will shine through for him, and I predict Josh to win the fight, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if I read later on Facebook tonight that Kofi somehow pulled it out.
Yeah, and you got to factor in a couple other things. That Josh recently got married. Josh, first of all, he hasn't fought he fought last year one time and lost up in Canada, but the rest of the year he lay dormant. He hasn't fought in a couple years, but according to Tim Goodwin, our resident doctor here, Tim says he's never seen Josh in better shape. He's never seen him in a better state mentally, which that's kind of been Josh's kind of uneasy easy point was that, you never know which Josh is going to show up. According to Goodwin, he said he is on point. So I think just the maturity. Josh turned 31 this year. He's not a kid anymore. That also is going to play a factor. And so if you're going to really, kind of Vegas odds, man, you got to be leaning toward Berkman.
Yeah, I think the maturity and the marriage is all going to be an advantage for a guy like that. I think those things are only going to make him more stable, more grounded, and more focused. So, I'm taking Josh, but like I said, wouldn't be surprised to hear it went the other way.
All right, Brandon. Well, we'll see if how that works out, and get your car going. And best of luck to you, my man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on the show, you guys. Take care.
All right, man. That's awesome. He's the best caller in or ever. Now, John's also on the line. We got another caller, so I want to go right to him. John, how you doing, my man?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Well, we're doing so good we can't even stand it over here.
I'm heading to the fights right now. I just jumped in the truck and we're moving.
There you go, man. So did you say you're at the fights?
No, I'm heading there right now. I'll be there in about 20 minutes.
So you're headed to the fights?
You asked him to call in.
Yeah, I'm heading there right now.
Who are you taking in the main event?
I got to say Kofi. Kofi's got this.
Well, now Kofi he's certainly, gosh, you can't bet against him. The kid, he looks good, man. I've never seen a guy more just prepared for a fight than Kofi Adzizo.
I've rolled with Kofi, and I'm bigger than he is, but he still throws me around like I'm his weight.
But any of the other fights that you are interested in?
It's always cool to watch a chick fight.
Okay. All right. Well, now what about we got a poll question going on this week, and the question is of the reported title fights that will take place in 2012, which do you see as the most compelling? We got obviously John Jones, Evans, and Alistair Overeem and Junior Dos Santos, Sonnen and Anderson Silva, Dominic Cruz, Uriah Faber, and then Henderson and Edgar tomorrow. What do you think's the most compelling of the bunch?
I think Dominic Cruz, that guy is just incredible to watch. I think that might be the most exciting, but I'm really excited to watch Rashad take on Jones, since I want to see Jones lose.
Yeah, you're over it. You're not on the Jones bandwagon?
No, I'm not on the Jones bandwagon. I'm going for Rashad.
John, he's a big, beautiful guy like you, big muscles, no fat on him anywhere. How could you not be?
You guys are supposed to stick together.
Yeah.
I never said Rashad will win. I just said I'm rooting for him.
Okay. All right. Well, enjoy the fights down there and let us know how it goes.
I'll hit you guys up as soon as they end.
All right, man. Good stuff. Now, I believe that was Johnny Kafer.
That is Big John Kafer.
It's halfway through these conversations, I'm recognizing these voices, and I'm like, wow, I know that guy, man. Well, that's pretty cool, and he's headed down to the fights tonight, and should be a good show. I want to continue the breakdown that I've got going on. We're pressed for time just a little bit, so I'm going to kind of rush right through it here. Jesse Clark and Jeremiah Guzman are fighting. Jesse Clark's a 2-0 fighter that's not had a fight go past the first minute. And then Guzman's a 3-0 fighter, so that ought to be kind of interesting. It's one of those that you don't know much about either one of them. Lance Palmer and Jordan Chandler have got a 1-0 fighter versus a 3-4 fighter. And let's see, Trevor Mellon and Craig Ross. This is the Pit Elevated says Trevor Mellon's the next big thing coming out of there. And they said that about Steve Seiler not too long ago, and guess what? He made it into the show. So you can't argue with that success. Now, Craig Ross is a kid that he's had a suspect chin in the past. He's got a 9-6 record, but he's had some notable wins of late against Pat Reeves and Blake Sprouse. So good-looking kid, and I think this should be a fight. Could possibly be the fight of the night. Jerome Hatch and George Lockhart, my favorite fighter. Jerome Hatch, never going to pick against him ever again, versus an 8-4 fighter whose most notable fight was a split decision loss to Shoney Carter. He also fought in the IFL, so this ought to be a test for him. I understand we have another caller. What's going on?
What is going on with this?
It's raining callers. Let's see who's going on. Tim, what's going on, my man?
Hey, how are you, Mikey? Just heading down to the Showdown Fights.
Oh, man, is this Tim the Pimp?
This is Tim the Pimp.
This is like a family reunion.
It is. It's great.
Now, Tim, I'm interested to hear what you have to say about Berkman and Kofi, because you know Berkman. You've been around a while. You knew Berkman back when he was just getting his feet wet. What do you think is going to happen in that fight?
I completely disagree with you on this one, Mike. I think Berkman's going to win. And I agree that Kofi is an awesome athlete.
I haven't even made my pick yet.
Oh, I thought earlier you thought that.
Look,
Kofi,
buddy, we're not married. You can't just pick fights with me like that.
I'm sorry about that. We should be.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, so you think Berkman's going to take it?
I think Berkman's going to win, and I think it's going to be by knockout.
And why do you think that?
You know what? I I just don't think he's gonna. I don't know. I think that Berkman is just he's just a tough dude, man, and I think he's gonna knock him out.
Well, it's kind of interesting to me that people they won't let an image of somebody go. Berkman was the guy a few years ago, and really he hasn't fought at all. It's been almost 2 years. He had a fight last year that he lost, and he hasn't even been in the cage, but yet people remember Berkman as what he was a couple years ago. And is that image, you're basing it on that? Do you know anything about what he's up to now or what he's looking like now?
Well, he got married, so I think for sure that that's gonna help him.
Now he knows how. Now he really knows how to fight, right?
Yeah, now he knows how to fight. So,
all right,
that's what I'm basing it on.
What about the poll question, Tim? We've got a couple big title fights going on this year. What do you think is the most compelling?
I think the John Jones versus Rashad Evans is going to be very interesting, and I'm going for John Jones. I think he'll win.
It's kind of interesting to me. We've had 2 light heavyweight fighters call in. They both were interested in the light heavyweight match. Is that why you're most drawn to it? Is because those guys are about your size, and you maybe in your mind think of you in there?
Hold on, let's get this straight. Tim is not a light heavyweight.
When he fought, he was a light heavyweight.
45 pounds ago.
When he fought, he was a light heavyweight. So is that you kind of identify with them? Is that why?
I do, and personally, I think that John Jones is probably one of the best all-around mixed martial artists out there right now. I mean, even pound for pound, in my opinion. So
I agree with that. So you're taking Jones, and Kafer took Evans?
He took Evans, did he?
Yeah, he sure did.
He's wrong.
All right. Well, Tim, as always, it's a pleasure having you on the show, and I'm going to have to cut you loose right now because we've got to take a break, and then I'm going to come back and finish breaking down the fight card. And after I'm done with that, if you want to call back in and weigh in on it, we'd love to hear from you.
All right.
All right, Tim, have a great night. Okay. All right, we got to take a break. We're going to come back and break down more of the Showdown fight, and then we're going to get to the UFC. We're going to talk about Edgar versus Henderson. Joe and I are going to talk about that at length because I actually did some studying.
Uh-oh.
All right, we got more Ultimate Combat Radio when we come back.